Hey, everybody, it's Jeff, and I'm honored to be with Dr. John Peters, who is the director of the IPICD, which is the Institute for the Prevention of In-Custody Deaths. You're based out of Las Vegas, Nevada, I believe, right, Dr. Peters? And
Yes.
we've known each other a little while, but just go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody that's going to be watching.
Well, first of all, Jeff, thank you for the opportunity to be with you today. Uh, I won't bore people with my background, but I was a former police officer and deputy sheriff, and my last police job was that of staff executive in a New England police department. It was the civilian equivalent, basically, of being number two in a department, and I was in charge of training, budgeting, all the administrative bureau, and directed planning and research. And from there, I went to a private research firm in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and conducted actually a lot of research in the area of criminal investigation management. And in that position, they sent me to California to do some field research. And after seeing what was going on in California training wise, I decided at some point to go into the training business. And when the grant expired for the work I was doing at the research firm, I went into the training business, and I've been doing that pretty much ever since.
I
Mitch,
think you're leaving a little bit out. I want to back up a little bit. What about your martial arts background? You're kind of like being a humble man here. You've been involved in martial arts and combatives for how many years?
oh, I started when I was about age 12. So it's been over half a century, let's put it that way.
So you've been involved with the use of force and hands-on. I think this is really important for the people listening to this interview today. You're keenly aware as a former law enforcement officer, researcher, educator, and combatives expert to really understand the whole use of force and the force options that officers have at their disposal.
Yeah, that's a good summary. I've studied martial arts, both judo and jujitsu. I had black belts in both. And that was the first training company I actually put together. Was we did uh, use of force training, and we specialized in unarmed self-defense and batons and restraint equipment and handcuffs. In fact, I developed the first handcuff instructor program in the country and the first flashlight instructor program in the country. I wrote books about both of those that are still available today. And that gave me the breadth and depth, really, I think, to apply this in real world settings. I also was a member of the United States Secret Service Defensive Tactics Advisory Panel, where I, along with some other folks, redesigned at that time in the early 1980s the defensive tactics program for the United States Secret Service. So I have quite a bit of background in not only martial arts, but also in defensive tactics. I wrote a leading book on it called Realistic Defensive Tactics that was sold extensively through Street Survival when Street Survival was in its initial iteration. And I still do some of that today, but over the years, I went back to school mid-career and picked up a PhD, and then following that, another master's degree. And I'm currently enrolled. I just finished about 6 different courses on artificial intelligence, and I'm completing one in 2 weeks from MIT Sloan School of Management up in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So I've been
You don't
pretty
have enough to
active.
do.
Well, and I write a lot too. I've got a little over 300 publications out there, and but it's all tied to law enforcement. It's all tied to the core of what I basically grew up on, and products interest me. Good law enforcement products interest me, and we got connected through a mutual friend, and then you came out and spoke at one of our conferences, and I got to see the glove in real time and how it worked. And it was very impressive. So, you know, that's,
Well, let's talk about that. You wrote an article in Police and Security News in May, June of 2023. If anybody wants to go back and look at that. And you took our acronym GLOVE and changed the acronym a little bit based upon what you saw. Instead of generate a low output voltage emitter, giving law enforcement officers validated effectiveness. What made you want to write that article, and what was it that you saw in the technology that you made that assertion that it's validated effectiveness? I thought it was one of the most well-written articles about our technology that really understood what it is we were working to achieve.
well, I appreciate those kind words. And I should point out that Dr. Dal Ross was a
Yep.
co-author on that with me. Uh, the bottom line is today, science rules, and you've got to have products that not only walk the walk, but talk the talk. And I was associated as an expert witness and consultant with Taser International for several years before it transitioned into Axon Enterprises. And I really learned the importance of scientific validation. So your device really piqued my interest, and I looked at the stories, the anecdotes that came from people. I got to see it in real life. It did everything and maybe a little more than what your company had said it would do. And then when I met you at the SHOT Show in Las Vegas, and you were kind enough to sit down and really spend kind of an afternoon going over the product and showing me all the products and everything else, you take this always back to, can this product substantiate its claims? And I found that it could. I found out that it wasn't harmful. It was really a force multiplier, if you will, to help weaker officers or even stronger officers who happen to be dealing with a stronger person. And in today's world, it's not being the big 9-foot tall, muscle-bound police officer, because the courts are saying, look, you've got to use reasonable force based on the totality of the circumstances.
Right.
And that comes from training. It comes from a lot of things. But we are fortunate today to live in a technological world where people are developing technologies to help officers. And I think that's really, really important. And I think your product certainly fits into that schema.
We're sitting now at over tens of thousands of uses with no injuries, no lawsuits. We're normally typically stopping that fight in less than 3 seconds based upon anecdotal evidence. But this spurned on with your article and the information that we're finding in the field. We're in hundreds of agencies in most states now, in at least 9 countries, last count, where we're really making a big difference out there in the field. And we have a couple patents, part of your research and everything else. We viewed what you've done and what others done as a feather in our cap to validate what it is we're trying to do, and that's to help stop the fight now. And I'm glad you mentioned Dr. Ross. You guys have agreed to kind of lead a survey that we've been asking people to participate in. And this is another plea right now for all you people out there that are using CD3 technology to get on there and do a very simple drop down click type of survey so that Dr. Peters and Dr. Ross can analyze that data and give us some true scientific, research that we can present to the agencies to show what we're actually doing out there in the field versus anecdotal evidence. What would you say about that as far as participating in the importance of research and for people to participate?
Well, it's extremely important, and I would encourage all the viewers to do that. And I might note that we're doing this really as sort of a love offering, if you will, for Jeff and his company, because science wins, and anecdotes are just those. we hear stories, and the truth is always somewhere in the middle, but
Yeah.
we need your participation to come up with a robust result, and that result is just people completing it. We here at the Institute a couple of weeks ago launched a brand new survey on artificial intelligence, and it was really designed to measure how it's used in law enforcement and a number of other things. And we've already gotten back almost 200 responses, which is an
Wow.
absolute great sample size. We would like to see the same thing with the glove technology. And if we can get that and we can get it published, it only helps the adopters and the people who are looking at it right now,
That's right.
because science will win. And we're not biased in any way. We don't own stock in the company. We don't train for the company. We don't do anything. We're just third-party evaluators at this point. So I would really encourage everybody, to go take that survey. I believe it's on your website. They can
Yes.
download it and, just go through. It won't take you very long, but we really need data. And if we can get the data, it will help everybody. And if you think of it, if you use the device down the road, in whatever capacity that you're using it, and someone ever challenges it, these data and the findings will ultimately help you as well. And we're anticipating a positive response and a positive analysis, but we don't know the outcome because we haven't gotten the data yet.
Right. And I know, and you and I have known each other for a little while, and you know the kind of the thought process and the heart that goes into what you do as a trainer and an educator. And what's your self title that you give yourself? Lead student or something like that? You're always learning.
Well, I'm Chief Learning Officer for
Chief
the
Learning Officer.
Institute,
That's right.
and I am always learning. I think last year, hour-wise, I took about 300 hours of law enforcement training myself, because you've got to stay up on the field. You can't sit idly by, and I know that's
Right.
not for everybody, but when I was at Boston University, I had a professor who made this statement, and I've never forgotten it. He said, never get off the educational bus. Because he said, the minute you do, you stop. And
Yeah.
there's an equal analogy there that Dr. John Black also likes to tell people, and that is solutions. The word solution means you stop thinking because you have the solution. And the one thing I like about your technology and your company is, yes, you have a very robust product and product line that some people might say, wow, this could be the solution, but you've never stopped. You keep going, you keep reinventing, re-energizing. And I would encourage people out there, don't focus on the word solution, focus on the word understanding. You need to understand what you're doing. You need to understand the product. I don't care what the product is, understand it.
Yeah.
Dave Berman and I have trained tens of thousands of officers as OC instructors over our career. And one of the things that we always put an importance on was giving them the information so they understood what was in the canister, how it worked, what it would do, what it would not do. It's that understanding that's critical. It's not just the solution, because solutions may work for a period of time and then not work later on because of advancements in technology or what have you. So
Right.
again, kudos to your organization for staying abreast and not getting off that educational bus.
I just term it as we always want to be situationally aware, and we're always looking to tighten up that shot group and be better. Never rest on your laurels because there's something that always needs to be adjusted. And we drill into a lot. People maintaining a situational awareness, always thinking ahead, We talk about that a lot in our training, and never go outside of your envelope. Just because you have a tool that gives you some ability, you always want to make sure that you're operating within your realm if that tool is not working effectively. We tell people if you have the glove on and you don't normally fight Sasquatch, you're just not going to fight Sasquatch because you have the glove on. You're going to use your standard tactics, techniques, and procedures. The glove will enhance that. And so I think that we're a lot aligned too in our philosophy. We're not interested in selling this stuff to the public. We're interested only in our men and women in uniform and our agencies and our law enforcement, corrections, and our hospital security and vetted out organizations, because I believe in the win-win. I know you probably believe in the win-win as well. Why can't we have safer streets and communities, hospitals, schools, more orderly jails and prisons, but also protect our officers, our agencies' public image, and valuable taxpayer dollars? Because let's face it, we make our money on the taxpayer dollar by and large. And for the officer, it's very personal. For me, it's not just about an officer going home at the end of the night. It's about that officer's future, their family, and their finances and security. And, hopefully we're helping with morale and officer retention and a lot of the things that other agencies are facing these days. So I just have a quick question for you. I know you've been working on the AI project, but tell everybody about real quickly, and then we'll wrap up, about if they want to contact you and they want to learn more about IPICD, because you have a great conference. I've attended it. You've got a great conference that discusses a lot of really key topics that individuals should be interested in. How do they contact you? And tell us about the AI event that you have coming up in, I believe it's February of 2025, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Well, thanks for remembering that. We have an international conference every year. It's going to be in November this year in Las Vegas. It's going to be at the Gold Coast Hotel on Flamingo Road. And we're going to be talking about all the latest stuff in that conference about excited delirium, where it's being banned, where it's being outlawed, how to maneuver around some of that. We're going to talk about some of the issues with officers being prosecuted today. Our main focus will be on arrest-related deaths and how to manage and prevent that. So people can get information at our website, which is IPICD.com. So just go to www.ipicd.com. And for people who want to reach out to me directly, my email address is real simple. It's John, John, at IPICD.com.
Can't get any easier than that.
So, I welcome people to reach out. That's probably the best way to get in contact with me. I travel a lot. In fact, tomorrow I'm leaving for the California Force Instructors Association Symposium over in Orange County, and I'll be over there the balance of the week, but I still check email every day. So to your question about the artificial intelligence, this is an area that's growing, and law enforcement can't ignore it. It's being adopted in a lot of areas, and we have a webinar in next month for educators and trainers on how you can use AI to really make your training more effective, more efficient, and save time at your end. When you can generate, a test bank of questions with answer keys in 4 seconds, that saves a lot of time. And we're going to teach people how to do that, how to write lesson plans, how to do a number of things in that webinar. But our big symposium is going to be in February of next year. It's going to be in Las Vegas, again at the Gold Coast Hotel. And we have world-class presenters coming. We have Neil Shahota who's been designated by IBM as a master inventor. He worked the Watson project. And for people who may not be familiar with Watson, Watson took on some of the game show hosts and beat them. I think it was Jeopardy. So we have Neil coming. We have a California senator coming, a retired senator from California who's very involved in AI and human trafficking. We have lawyers coming to talk about some of the certain risk management perspectives of using AI. We have a chief who's coming to talk about how he uses artificial intelligence in internal affairs investigations. So this is going to be a 2.5-day event. It's never been done in law enforcement before, where you've had this caliber of people for 2.5 days, and they're going to mingle with everybody, and we're going to go through AI and hopefully demystify it. Show people it's not something scary. And people always worried, will AI take my job? Probably not. But people who know how to do AI might. And I read something over the weekend that said, in law enforcement and other organizations, if you're not up on AI, in 3 years, you'll be way behind and you'll never catch up.
Yeah. And the thing is, the bad guys will be on it as well.
Oh,
And
absolutely. The bad guys are already on it.
yeah,
We're going to cover that as well. You know, how to do voiceovers with somebody else's voice.
right.
There's all kinds of criminal activity out there being used with AI, but investigators have to know about AI, otherwise they're not going to be able to go after this stuff. So
Yeah.
I would encourage people to go to our website, check it out. We'd love to have you come out to Las Vegas in February. 99.9% chance there'll be no snow. So if you live in the winter climates, you can come out and enjoy warmer weather and see our vibrant city. But most of all, it'll be a 2.5-day, really good, solid educational and training event.
Can they link to the AI information from the IPICD website?
Yes.
Separate. Okay.
Yeah, we have some information on our website. It's on the landing page. If you scroll down, once you hit our landing page, you'll see all that, and you can get the information on the brochure.
Okay. And another thing you didn't really go into too deep. You did mention a little bit, but you've had decades, you and Dr. Ross combined, I don't know how many thousands of cases that you guys have been expert witness in and things like that. So with the use of force and force options and excited delirium, which will someday be named agitated chaotic event, which is the term I use now in all of our publications, by the way, at Compliant Technologies. And I believe you're the one that coined that term. I think it's more aptly fit to what it is. And so, yeah, you've got a breadth, you've got a world-class experience. I would highly recommend everybody that to get a hold of IPICD and talk with Dr. Peters and see how he can help you with education, training, and then also expert witness work. So I'll give you the last word, Dr. Peters, and then we'll close out.
Well, again, Jeff, it is really an honor and a privilege to be here with you today. I certainly appreciate it. And I don't want people to view this and go away saying, oh, this was just some, advertising hype they're trying to do to promote products. No, it's not. In fact, if you go on our website, we have several totally tuition-free programs, such as spit mask and breathing, how to recognize abnormal breathing. So we're really dedicated, as Compliant Technologies is, to enhancing your ability to avoid risk. And from an expert witness perspective, we have never seen in this industry so many law enforcement officers being criminally prosecuted as we have in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, it's a shame.
And it's incumbent upon everyone to stay educated, stay up to speed, because none of us want to lose our careers, our homes, our families, or our freedom going to jail over something that maybe could be preventable. And that's, again, where the glove comes in. One of the most important things when you think criminally is intent. You have to prove intent in almost every crime. And what's the intent when you use the glove? It's certainly not to harm people. It's certainly not to injure people. It's not to kill people. The intent is to use it as an assist to get people under control. Yeah. So again, from a law enforcement perspective in defending these cases, The glove makes it easy to help defend these cases. Now, there's always operator error, and there's always someone who's not going to play by the rules. We can't help that.
Right.
But I think we need to look out. In business, it's called environmental scanning. Things are getting worse. They're not getting better.
Yeah,
And
that's a fact, unfortunately.
I
Yeah.
think at the end of the day, you adopt technology, you use technology, and you discipline yourself so as not to go overboard. And there's many officers who go through their entire career who are active, who never get sued. And that's because they respect people, they do their job, and they don't go overboard. So I would encourage people, think about it from your perspective. Everyone we contact is someone's brother, sister, mother, father, son, or daughter. And many of them live in our community.
Yeah.
So I think respect goes a long way. Following the golden rule goes a long way. And I certainly wish you and your company the very best, and everyone who adopts it. I wish you the very best, and those who have looked at it but didn't adopt it, I wish you the very best in your career as well. And just stay safe out there, but most importantly, thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you, Dr. Peters. I appreciate that. And, we'll look forward to working with you again in the future. And I look forward to being part of that AI conference here. I want to be in there and listen to that because there's a lot I need to be educated on as far as AI. So thank you so much for what you're doing and for your time today.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.